Okay. There we go. Excellent connection. Anyway. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, it seems to be working. Let's keep going. I wonder if that's going to work. Maybe the link is different. There we go. Nice. Okay. So, what are we gonna do now? Well, I guess I should be leaving this as is. I subscribe to the release date of Visual Studio Code version 1.54 release party. I wonder what that about. What's that about? But I guess I'm going to find out in a couple of days. What else? Well, there we go. So I managed to find out where I'm going to where I was able to basically here in settings in GitLab, I was able to set the default branch to develop because previously was set up to be master. So and I don't want to have any accidents because of that. So that's it. I just completed this card over here. Quite some work, and I guess I should be repeating the same work here. Let me get my console. I don't really like working on Windows, but since I no longer have a company laptop, I guess I am going to use my gaming PC as my development computer anyway. So let's see. It's I guess I should be changing the folder because I'm not on working on GitHub anyway. But I guess it doesn't really matter right now. Okay, so okay, I do remember now. We just merged the feature partials index branch into the develop branch. I guess that the next thing that I should do. Wait, let me check something really quickly. Okay, we do have audio because the last time I began talking about for like around an hour, and I wasn't actually recording any audio. A mistake from my part, but never mind. So let's see what's next. I guess I should be repeating this, something similar to this, based on the work previously done. I guess that the best approach for me with EJS will be to create partials in order to replicate the stuff. But the partials that I already have are basically just refactor of the code that already existed. But I need it to be, especially with the main menu, I need it to be more dynamic. Let's see what I mean about it. The website is not running. Let's fix that one. Oh wait, npm start. npm start. The server is running right now. Let's check it out. There we go. So this is a website. This is what is available right now as part of the refactoring project with Node.js. This is going to be a web app now. So the main menu. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. This is the main menu. As you can see, there is a very subtle difference between the active element in the menu and the passive or disabled elements in the menu. Well, they are not disabled. Basically, my main page is this one here. as you can see. This is the main page, and in the main menu is going to differentiate the store option here. This is the homepage option. It's going to be a little, it's going to be color black here. Maybe I should consider making an underscore line over here, maybe just to make it more clear. But at this time, I just want it to be like this. So if I click here, I don't have an endpoint here yet. That's going to be later. If we open the production side right now, okay, there we go. So this is the desired behavior. The active page should remain active depending on what option on the main menu is being pressed. For example, if I go here now, this is a different page inside the website, and we can see that there is a subtle change in the color here. This is black, while the other colors in the option menus are basically gray, basically. When I do an on mouse over event here, when I put my mouse cursor upon the options, we can see a subtle change of color here. So this behavior is desired, that's fine. But at this time, every single, if I check out the code on the second page here, let's see, I wonder if I can inspect the element. You can better read here that the link itself doesn't have any specific class, but the list item tag, the container tag, basically does have this added class here. You can see it here. If I remove that, I no longer see the option on the menu. How do you call it? Well, basically, it's not active anymore. So if I want to give it back, I write down the active class here, and we can see in blue, that's the element that I want to be basically marked with the active tag. So I go to press enter. And now we can see a subtle change in color. It's very subtle, but very useful for people, because they, at a glance, they may know in what page of the website they are right now. So it's available on every single site. So this is a responsive web design. There is some pictures here that need to be replaced because this is a 1-year-old website that we didn't maintain properly, but anyway. So what do we do? Well, first, not here. First, I'm going to go back to my Trello board, and I'm going to, well, I guess I should create a new card. I wonder, let's close the server. I wonder if I do have a new... Let's check out the list of branches. On my local repository, I only have develop and master. That's fine. What I'm going to do now is create a new local branch, and it's going to be called, let's see, git checkout -b, in order to, if the branch that I want to change into doesn't exist, it should be created. And the name should be feature dash, and then the name of the feature. In this case, it will be partials dash, I wonder if partials index. Let's see, what's the name of the second page? It reads, let me see. Well, the main page seems to be... there are a lot of things that I can use partials on here, but at this time, I believe I'm just going to leave these sections here just as is, because I don't really need them, because I could apply partials into this carousel here, into these cards over here, into these horizontal cards here. They seem to resemble the same format over and over again, just with a difference between location and background color, you know. Those could be partial, but I'm not going to be delving into that right now. I want to set this website as soon as possible and keep it running. So let's say, for example, here, I may use the partial that I already created here, but I'm going to need to change the main options in the menu to basically choose this option here as the active option. I am using a single partial for the main menu, so I need to apply JavaScript logic in order to allow myself to choose the right one. So first things first, let's create. I guess it will be not really partials, but it will be dynamic navigation maybe, or partial. I know partials dash navigation. That should be my my focus on the navigation bar for this session. There we go. So now I want to obviously this this branch is new, so it is not any different from the current point on the head. So what I'm going to do is to push this into the remote. It doesn't exist, so I need to copy this command here and paste it here. Oh wait. Oh my god. Okay. Again, I need to copy this. Copy. Shift insert. There we go. I need to execute this in order to create this same branch as a merge request in the remote. So let's open the merge request. And this is a draft, I guess. I don't want it to be a draft anyway. I'm going to sign it to myself. I'm going to my wife is going to review it. Yeah, I guess. Description. Dynamic. Oh, there is a very big typo. Mm-hmm. There we go. Is that the right way to? Okay. Just a little bit of a description here, because I'm planning to bring my wife into the project more. Remove the draft prefix from the term. Maybe when it's ready. Okay. Yeah. Right. Perfect. It's going to be this feature partials navigation like this. Okay. Submit merge request. And there we go. We do have a new merge request. I'm going to copy this. And now I should just basically add the card. And basically I could just copy and paste the same description here. Why not? Just to save some time. I'm going to join here. Maybe my wife too. Why not? There we go. And now I'm going to do a little to-do list. Why not? Probably let's see. Create folder structure. No. Can I just remove that entirely like this? No. Okay, never mind. No, I actually I'm going to delete all of those. Okay. So the first thing I should do is make wait, the current web page item in the menu active. I wonder if this does support Markdown, I don't recall. There we go, it actually works. Okay, that should be the first thing. Before that even, I need to refactor. And what's the name of the page again? There we go. Where is it? What is my, there we go. Refactor comunidadinfantil.html into and I wonder if I can do this. No, yeah, yes. Endpoint, just like that. Refactor that web page as a Node.js endpoint. Basically, converting that page, that static web page, into a Node.js application page. Basically, after doing that, I wonder if I can just wait. I forgot about something here. I was getting contacted by somebody. Okay. I believe I forgot to post my my activity here. No, 15 minutes ago. Okay, no, it's fine, I guess. It's fine. Everything is fine. Okay. What's next? Okay, refactor comunidad infantil into another Node.js endpoint. It should be before before messing around with the menu, with the main menu anyway. I need to refactor this, and the moment I do have the second web page available for me, I should be able to play around with the actual main menu. And that's it, I guess. Partial navigation should include every single other web page, so maybe I should just do that. Let's see, Casa de los Niños, that's another web page. So basically, I wonder if I can just duplicate this. No. Refactor this. Wait, what? There we go. And I should repeat this process up until I do have every single one of them. Okay, that's another one. I don't need this. I certainly don't need this. Wait, did I publish on Twitter? I think I did. Did I publish my link on Twitter? 16 minutes ago. Okay, yeah, I did it. My calendar. That's the stream. Okay, never mind. So another Casa de los Niños. Okay, this was a copy. The Pilar page. Okay, this is the Pilar. Basically, the staff of the school is here, or the main people in charge. I wonder if I should be setting here. I wonder if I can get this. Yes, that should. My wife is very useful for me when she gets into my projects, but I need to actually put an effort documenting the project and the progress. She really likes seeing these visual cues, like this one here, like special words that are not that relevant, special keywords here. So it may seem like overkill because we are just two people on this project, but in the long run, it does actually helps a lot, especially when you abandon the project for like a year, like we just did, because we are retaking this project a year after the fact. So getting documentation is really helpful, and we get up to speed with the project. It didn't matter that we retook this a year after, and I had seen it in actual jobs where people basically just forget about some project like 3 months, come to pass, and they try to recap where they left off, and basically they struggle for like a week, trying just to decipher what they themselves did 3 months ago. But never mind. So I guess I should just repeat myself here over and over again, and just changing the name. So let's see. I don't need this here. I may need this here. There we go. And basically, I should just do this with every single web page. There we go. And basically do the same. What's next? The method. So, oh wait, method and then gallery. This is going to be a big one, actually. I should probably try to do that one first. Wait. Okay, that's the name, but may need this. Okay. So gallery is going to be a big one because it depends. This is the main page. It doesn't seem like much, just a couple of videos and some pictures here. But these are not just pictures. My wife did this. We click here. We open a gallery. So my wife did this a year ago. It took her quite some time to build. Looks pretty nice in my opinion. So as you can see here, this is a very good candidate for using partials here, because as you can see here, we do get the same elements over and over again. So maybe I could create a template called gallery detail or something like that, or picture collection, something, and use that layout to fill in the title of the gallery, the detail of the detail of the gallery, maybe at the emojicon, and every single picture that repeats themselves over and over again. Probably here, I see some pictures in with the horizontal format and with the vertical format. Depending on what picture is it, I should probably ask if for every single picture, what kind of format I'm going to use for the gallery itself. For example, here, this is going to be dynamic because this picture is a square and really big. These two, this is a square but very little. The same here. This is a rectangle, very short. Another rectangle, a square. So I need to make this more dynamic in the sense that I just need to set up the URL for the pictures, and depending on the picture, I guess, I don't know what criteria did my wife use here. I guess I should read her code in order to understand it better and see what did she do actually here. Well, anyway, all of this should be generated dynamically. So there we go. And if we go to gallery, we can see the same options over here. There we go. And here. There we go. So basically, gallery is going to be filled with many sub dependencies, let's say. So links to other web pages. And this is going to become, I guess, its own branch. So I'm going to leave this as is here, because I'm only going to refactor this page like this. And in the next branch, I'm going to get into the grid of here. I'm going to grind my way through this code and see what's going to happen. Next, questions, facts. Here's the fact page. the frequently asked questions. So I guess it's the same thing. I guess I could just write it down. The web page names are very simple and contact. That's very easy to do. And these are going to be the main ones. Obviously, gallery does have more detail, but the gallery page itself is this one here. So I'm going to refactor this. My main objective on this branch is going to be to enable all the pages that are missing here. These two, you know. And probably the form over here, this is going to be disabled because this is working with JavaScript on the client side. So I'm not using backend on this web page. This is a static web page. And I do use a very simple JavaScript file that I included on this repo in the static web page. And basically I do call the whatever application is set up to become the email client in order to actually send the data from this form into an email client on the client side. But it happens a lot that most people open these websites on their phones, and most people don't really have, I mean, parents basically, or mothers, or parents in general. Most of the time they don't have an email client already configured in order to actually send this email. So my plan is in another branch, it's going to be a new feature to allow me to send this form directly using the backend. I'm going to send the email directly from Node into the company email, avoiding the need to configure a client on the an email client on the client side. So that's basically the plan. But that's going to be done another day. I don't think I'm going to have time today. But never mind. This seems to be more than enough work for this session. So let's get on with it. Comunidadinfantil.html needs to be refactored. So let's do that. Okay, so I wonder if I need to say something else. No. Okay. So that's it. That's what is going to be in progress right now. So let's do it. Let's open. This is Visual Studio Code. This is the repo. The last time, what did I do? Okay, here are some includes. The first one is the head. This is the source code for the basically the head tag of every single page is going to remain the same at this time. This is not going to be dynamic. Basically, this is going to be copied and pasted on every other page right now. The second I add a block feature or something that requires metadata in the head tag, I'm going to need to refactor this or build a new one, more dynamic. The footer, this goes at the bottom of the page. This is basically your social media contact information, your contact information itself, the address of the school, etc. Even a link to the Google Maps location map. So this is going to go, this section here is actually all of this. The bottom of the screen, here we have an orange section here. All of this is the footer. So if we go to another page and we go to the bottom of the page, we are going to find pretty much the same footer all over again. So instead of copy and pasting this in HTML for the static website, I just built a partial a while ago, like an hour ago. And that partial is the footer AES. And last but not less important, navigation AES. This is another partial that works with the main menu. And this is what I'm going to be doing by the end. I wonder if I can do that just now, but I don't think so. Let me see my order. Now, I guess I should just refactor everything first, like this. Maybe I should refactor the first page, Comunidad Infantil, and then do this. So, because this is the most hardest element to do, this one here. But I need at least one other page other than the index in order to do my proper testing and stuff, you know. So I'm going to do Comunidad Infantil first. I'm going to refactor that. Then I'm going to be working on the main menu. So these are my partials, my includes. This is the main page. This is index. This is the index view here. And I am copy pasting the head.js code that you saw before here. So here goes the head tag. Here goes the navigation menu. And way back, way down below, here I do include the footer. So basically, this is going to get rendered in real time. Nothing is going to change. Let's see if I can npm start to start the server. Okay, there we go. So now we go here. Where is it? There we go. Okay, this is my local repository. There we go. So this is the local Node.js web app. So everything seems to be running, but if I click on Comunidad Infantil, it's 404 not found. Why? Because I don't have an endpoint there yet. So I'm going to build that one. We go here. We take a look first into the routers folder, and we can see here a router file for the index page. And in line number 6, here we are commanding Node to render the index view like this. And we send some data in the shape of a JavaScript object right over here. So everything is nice here, no problem. But I may like to send, or may I say, I may like to copy this and create a new route. Before that, well, this is one thing that I need to do, create a new route for the new web page. Or maybe I can just copy this, because this is index.js. I may like to copy this and paste another function right down here. Or I wonder if I can just create a route for the different page. That would be better. Before doing that, let's read a little bit in app.js how the routes are being used. If we look over here, we do have a couple of routes, different files for different routes. So I'm going to keep them separate. There is an index router, which is the file that we just saw here, this one here. This is the index router. And the second one is user router. I wonder if I can access that. I guess I can, I guess. Users, there we go. Respond with a resource. So this works, so basically. I haven't defined anything on that endpoint anyway, in that route, but no matter. What I may like to do is replicate this in the router, and we declare the router here, and it's getting used down here by Express. As we can see here, there is an app variable here being used a lot. This app variable is actually an Express.js instance. So what are we going to do? We're going to copy this line here, line 7, which defines a new variable. What? Give me a minute. Hola. Ok. ¿Qué tal? Buenas tardes, sí. Sí, dime. Ajá. Ok. Ajá. 7 años. Ok, dime. Sí, dime. Nada más te comento que yo, perdón, que te interrumpa. Yo tengo de una vez, full disclosure, he estado trabajando como full stack web developer desde el 2017. Entonces tengo 2017, 2018, 2019 y 2020, 2020. Tengo como 4 años. Ujú. Sí, entonces para que lo consideres ahorita de una vez. Lo empecé trabajando como administrador de base de datos en bancos, luego en gobierno y luego como ya base de datos ya se me daba muy bien, o sea, una vez que se hace ya se queda así, empecé a aprender Java para hacer aplicaciones de base de datos también, o sea, programas que jalan datos, ¿no? Y después de ahí utilicé ese conocimiento para conectarme con Bootstrap eh, y con Spring Boot, que es otro framework para Java, a microservicios web. Y por el 2017 me gradué de un bootcamp para publicar, para hacer páginas web con Node.js en AWS, ¿no? En la nube de Amazon. Y esa es mi carrera, básicamente, ¿no? Sí. Vagamente a inicios de los años 2000 de forma personal pero más que nada para modificar plantillas de WordPress, pero no tengo realmente experiencia así comprobable de PHP. Y como ya estoy con Node, Node hace todo lo que necesito, pues. También trabajé con Python porque en los últimos dos bancos en los que estuve, que fue BBVA y Volkswagen Financial Services, ellos ya eligieron Python como parte de su stack de tecnologías, ¿no? Entonces, yo no les voy a decir, es que yo soy de JavaScript, o sea, no. O sea, yo aprendí Python para trabajar en esos equipos, ¿no? Entonces, por eso aprendí Python. Tengo, desde 2017, tengo como 4 años de experiencia con Node. Sí, es un framework para hacer el frontend, sí. Ajá, sí. Creo que no me suena. Ajá, pero dime. Ajá, ajá,
También se pide como de base que tengas experiencia teniendo un buen código, o sea, un código limpio, o buenas
ujú,
prácticas, haciendo unit testing a tu propio código, em, un, digamos, conocimiento general sobre el diseño, eh, que tengas esta apertura a escuchar feedback, que tengas un buen nivel de inglés,
sí,
que estés familiarizado con los algoritmos o con la estructura de datos para optimizar soluciones,
ajá,
trabajando con la metodología ágil, que ellos
ujú,
trabajan con ello, experiencia en la nube como GCP o Amazon Web Services, que es la que utilizas tú. Y
ujú,
en cuanto a frameworks, como te comenté, React.js, puede ser AngularJS o incluso Vue.js. Esto está enfocado para que también trabajes con prácticas DevOps, de Continuous Integration, Continuous Delivering, usar, por ejemplo, Docker para contenedores, Jenkins. Sin embargo, esta última parte de lo de DevOps no es limitante para aplicar, sería como un nice to have.
ok.
Esta empresa, sé que no la has escuchado tú, es muy popular o famosa en Guadalajara. Es como la empresa más cotizada en Guadalajara para los desarrollos que quieren entrar a esa empresa. Sus procesos, de una vez te digo, sí es un poquito extenso en cuanto a que hay varias entrevistas que califican no solamente lo técnico, sino también a nivel personal, de que te lleves bien con los demás, qué tan curioso eres, qué tan bueno eres recibiendo feedback. Hay gente que no es buena recibiendo feedback, que se lo
Ajá.
toman a personal o así.
Sí.
Y se dedican ellos a hacer varios proyectos. Han trabajado, por ejemplo, lo más sonado es un proyecto de Walmart, pero tienen también otros clientes bastante grandes. Y pues
Ok.
bueno, el esquema que se manejaría en este caso para esta posición sería un esquema en 100% nómina, un contrato directamente con la empresa, prestaciones de ley, prestaciones superiores a las de la ley.
Ujú.
¿Podrías comentarme cuál fue el último esquema en el que trabajaste y cuánto fue el último que recibiste para en base a ello hacerte una mejor oferta?
Sí, me parece que fue con Gonet. Lo que pasa es que luego esa consultora, dependiendo del estado, creo que se cambia el nombre, pero en Puebla creo que se llamaba Cosmocolor y en México se llama Gonet. Me estaban pagando 29,000 pesos más 1,000 pesos de despensas en una tarjeta Vale, o sea, son como 30,000 pesos, ¿no? Y era un esquema mixto, me decían. Entonces, tienen una onda ahí de pagos, que me pagan en diferentes tarjetas.
Ujú.
Pero lo que cae en nómina es una parte y la mayor parte cae en una cuenta personal. Y
Ok,
otra parte ya cae como, los 1,000 pesos restantes caen como en una tarjeta Vale, pero lo sumo todo y me daban 30,000 mensuales.
ok, 30,000 ya, digamos, tuyos libre de impuestos.
Sí, ya libres de impuestos.
Ok, va, déjame tomar nota. Y considerando que en este caso serían 100% nómina, ¿cuál sería tu expectativa salarial?
Pues yo creo que alrededor de eso mismo, como estoy trabajando remoto, bueno, estaba yo trabajando remoto con ellos.
Ujú.
Pues me estaban dando eso, pero la idea era que después, si el proyecto todavía seguía, pues me moviera a la Ciudad de México cuando la pandemia pasara, pues. Pero pues se acabó el contrato de 6 meses y el Scrum se graduó en diciembre del año pasado. Traducción, acabamos el proyecto, lo entregamos, se pasó el repositorio a manos del equipo del banco de BBVA y ya nos liquidaron a todos y los que tienen proyectos nuevos pues ya se fueron y gente como yo que está luego en el backend con AWS, luego nos llaman 6 meses antes de que se vayan a producción para limar las asperezas del sistema y ponerlo en la nube, ¿no?
Ok, ok, va, perfecto.
Ujú.
Creo que si podremos ir adelante serían aproximadamente 43,000 brutos, para que
Ujú.
más o menos te dé los 30 libres. Es un aproximado porque al fin y al cabo la nómina y el pago te lo va a hacer la misma empresa Wiseline y
Ajá.
pues normalmente es en como un 30% de puro impuestos y retenciones de
Sí.
tu salario, pero sí sería un aproximado para que te quedara esa cantidad.
Ah, ok.
Em, ¿Te parece si tenemos una pequeña conversación en inglés?
Sí, está bien.
Perfect. So, as my first question, Jorge, can you tell me a little bit about any project in which you feel proud about it? Maybe showing me some of the technologies that you use or some of the issues that you have
Um,
and how were you able to solve it?
yeah, sure. My last project, well, I was actually developing the backend as a single project, and this backend was serving a couple of mobile applications as part of the mobile division in BBVA, that's the bank.
Yeah.
Um, a couple of applications, one named Wallet, BBVA Wallet, and the other one called BBVA Glomo. Both applications receive data from several data sources. Uh, Basically, I was in charge of gathering data from several databases, file systems, in order to gather promotions for Mexico. And allow these wallet and Glomo applications to deliver promotions nearby our clients and basically promote the use of credit cards and debit cards and promote the use of spending puntos of BBA, basically a reward system for our clients. So the main issue here is that several of these data sources are not really data structured. In the bank, there is a lot of projects that generate a lot of data, and I was using an AWS service called AWS Glue, which is basically a cloud service that allows us to connect to several data sources and gather data and structure and then load the data into the cloud, transform the data, and then save the data in a more structured manner in order to allow us to use the data and deliver the specific data that we actually need to our both mobile applications, Glomo and Wallet, that is. So there was a lot of talks with many people, and some of these data sources date back from 15 years ago, and those systems are considered legacy at this point, and the original developers no longer work for the bank. So I gathered my team, and basically we get to read the source code, which is basically Java. And we read the code, and we managed to decipher what's going on there. And we basically rewrote most of that code in order to gather the data again and load it into cloud services. And when we released the wallet application and the Glomo application with the promotions API, we were able to do just that, show promotions around our clients, basically give them the opportunity to use their BBVA points more effectively. And of course, we delivered this because we got a bonus for delivering on the last quarter of 2020. The Scrum team graduated in December 2020, and the team was effectively disbanded once the repository of the source code was delivered to the hands of the in-house development team in Spain. Something similar tend to happen on Volkswagen, and as you mentioned, code reviews tend to be a little harsh on the developer itself, and I experience a lot of that because the Germans are really spot on, and they don't, let's say, they are not really that soft skilled, so they are very direct, and they are very harsh reviewing your code because they do hold standards that are not just international, but they are above international. They do have their own guidelines for writing code, and they do belong to an organization known as the Digital Hub, which is some sort of organization that every single programmer and software developer in the company in Volkswagen belongs to, and they do have a ranking system, and they do grade themselves between they grade, they review code, and basically it's like a programming club. We do rank up or down, and the code reviews themselves tend to be very hard on people. And I had seen everything, and obviously most of those code reviews are pointing out issues that may come out from your code. They are not actual issues yet. So, and I can talk about that for hours, but basically I do have experience with code reviews and people giving me code reviews because obviously during my initial code reviews I took it personally. But the truth is, as time passes, you just get into it, and more often than not, you just forget about your feelings, and you just work in the source code and call it a day. I wonder if that's enough.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like fair enough, and Seems like you learned a lot from that guidance.
Hmm.
Thank you so much. My next question, and it's actually going to be the last question for the English part, will be, I know you kind of told me you have around 4 years of experience working with Node.js and kind of also with React.js, but I
Okay.
want to know more or less um, in what companies or projects you use it because you don't mention those technologies in your resume.
Yeah. Well, the initial when I graduated from the bootcamp back in 2017, I made a website, but due to my lack of experience with the platform, basically I was just graduating from a bootcamp. I decided in the last minute to move into WordPress because that was my safe space, so to speak. So basically, I started developing with Node at the time on the AWS platform, and then I moved into WordPress because of my own insecurity, you know. While I was developing that one, I was building personal projects that I used to sell to students in the university or to other companies. And one of those projects reached somebody in the state government of Puebla, Puebla City, and they gave me a call just like this one. They called me, and I decided to take a job there, and I was working as a database administrator and then as the director of the data direction, let's say, the data department. So I became their chief data engineer, and I was basically just directing the development team in order to keep the databases online, and sharing data with the federal government at the time. When the After that happened, and while that was happening, I was developing personal projects, basically websites, blogs, dashboards, business intelligence applications that I don't put in my resume because I sign NDAs with a specific definitions that I may not even mention my experience with those companies. Having said that, and the source code, I'm not allowed to keep copies of the source code. Having said that, I did manage to get a lot of experience with Node.js, and I am currently using that experience to develop more personal projects on my own. Um, but basically, I use that experience to get a job, but more often than not, as you can see, one thing is whatever the recruiter is telling me, and the other thing is what I'm going to find out to be in the workplace itself. I was hired to do Node.js work in both banks, but when I started working there, they already were working in a Python solution. So I needed to adapt. So I learned Python on my first job, let's say Volkswagen Financial Services.
Mhm.
Um, and then I moved into Python when I get there. And in BBVA, the same thing. They were looking for a Node.js developer for the backend. They told me I could use Node.js, but I was encouraged very hard to use Python because that was the programming language that everybody else was using. So I did quote unquote had the option to use Node.js, but I decided to go with the flow. And you know what? If my leading programmer, my boss basically is telling me to use Python, I'm going to abide by that decision anyway.
Yeah, fair enough, and I really understand that part in which, yeah, you may know a little bit about Node.js, but the company wants you to learn another language. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's
I'm
totally
focused on the
understandable.
back end because I was hired as a full stack developer. But the truth is that when they detected my skills for the back end development, they moved me into the back end team on both companies. Happened the same thing. So I was no longer a generalist. I was a specialist in the back end side.
Okay, okay. That was my last question for the English part.
Okay.
Thank you so much. ¿Tienes alguna duda en cuanto al el job description ainda un poquito de lo que te comenté de Node.js, el cliente que es Wiseland o el esquema que se manejaría.
Ok, primero, la empresa misma la voy a googlear. No sé si me puedas pegar la liga a su página web o el nombre para que lo busque yo.
Ujú,
Este, y habiendo dicho eso, yo como puedes ver tengo más, o sea, sí me ofrezco y estoy haciendo ahorita un proyecto como full stack, pero la realidad es que mi experiencia laboral ha sido más que nada en el backend, ¿sí?
ujú,
Entonces, para que lo consideres, porque luego veo ofertas de trabajo y realmente cuando veo yo esas ofertas, luego veo que buscan realmente a un front-end developer, porque eso es lo que va a hacer el 90% de su tiempo, y quieren que sepa un poco de backend, porque ven que como que eso sirve, pues, pero no es el foco, pues. Entonces yo estoy al revés, yo tengo más experiencia como backend y casi no he hecho frontend, no porque no pueda, sino
ujú,
porque como me han mandado en el backend, porque es lo más difícil a veces, entonces ahí me ponen, porque en mi anterior trabajo teníamos 5 personas en el frontend y solo yo y otras 2 personas en el backend, ¿no?
ujú,
Y en Volkswagen éramos 2 personas en el backend y 15 en el frontend,
mm,
¿no? Entonces,
ok.
luego eso pasa, ¿no? Entonces casi no hay gente para llenar backend y los que más o menos saben los mandan para allá. Y ya eso es todo, ¿no? Entonces, para que lo consideres en la oferta y me digas si soy un feed o no, para estar,
Mira,
enterado,
te
¿no?
soy honesta, sí tengo unas dudas, no en cuanto a tu perfil lo que me comentaste, sino a qué tanto puedes hacer match, porque está más orientada hacia lo que es el front-end más que el back-end. Sí se tiene la mentalidad de que será como un tipo full stack, pero sí tiene más orientación a lo que es el front, trabajando con JavaScript, trabajando con los frameworks que te comenté,
Con React,
eh,
¿no?
AngularJS y Vue.js. Entonces, si te
Mm,
parece bien por lo que me comentas, entonces creo que esta posición no haría del todo un match con lo que estás buscando, sobre todo porque veo que, digo, te han orientado más, pero que tienes más experiencia con Python. E igual, si te vas orientando hacia perfiles Python, es mejor especializarte en esta tecnología si no quieres enfocarte a lo que es el frontend.
Pues de hecho yo diría que estoy en el mismo nivel tanto en Python como en JavaScript, con Node. Ahí la división que yo haría es que sí me he enfocado más en el backend, tanto en Java como tanto en JavaScript como en Python, ¿no?
Okay.
Y el único framework con el que yo tengo experiencia, porque con ese hago todo, es con React.js. No, yo sé que existe Vue y Vue y Angular 2 y 2 para arriba, ¿no? Pero nunca los he usado. O sea, sé que existen, pero hasta ahí es mi conocimiento. O sea, solo sé que existen, pero nunca los he usado porque con React, con ese hago todo, ¿no? Entonces,
Okay. Lo que
ujú.
podríamos hacer es, sí tendrías que hacer modificaciones a tu CV, porque tal cual me lo entregaste, pues sí pareciera que estás orientado 100% al backend, sobre todo porque las tecnologías que más manejas aquí es Python y Java. Java en tus inicios y, bueno, inicios como desarrollador.
Ajá,
Entonces, sería cuestión de que uno hicieras las implementaciones haciendo mención de tus proyectos en los que usaste Node.js, React.js y Java como tal. Bueno, se
ujú,
sobreentiende que cuando es React.js, pero por si acaso que lo menciones que con Java. Y
sí,
yo entiendo que hay algunos proyectos en los que no te dejan mencionar el nombre de la empresa, pero con que agregues que estuviste trabajando ahí como desarrollador, obviamente omitiendo el nombre de la empresa,
ok.
eh, pero bastaría con eso para dar a demostrar esta experiencia que tienes tú.
Ah, ok.
Pero sí sería una experiencia que, como te comenté, sí tengo mis dudas de que sí lo cumples con los requisitos, pero a la vez ahí estamos como que tanteando qué tanto,
Sí, de
¿no?
hecho, pensando en eso, estoy de hecho ahorita desarrollando un sitio web para una escuela privada, para que
Ujú,
puedan hacer pagos en línea los padres en vez de tener que ir presencial a la escuela con su tarjeta de crédito, ¿no?
sí,
Entonces, eso es lo que estoy haciendo ahorita. Y que terminando voy a hacer una aplicación móvil para checar asistencias laborales. ¿no?
Ujú.
Donde el empleado abre la app y cuando ya está en el terreno del empleador, en el lugar de trabajo, presiona el botón y ya checa la asistencia en su teléfono sin necesidad de un reloj checador ni nada de eso, ¿no?
Sí,
Entonces,
ok.
entonces, esos dos, como yo los estoy haciendo por mi cuenta, no me están pagando para hacerlos, los voy a utilizar para ponerlos en mi currículum, porque ese es un
Ujú.
problema serio que tengo. O sea, muchos códigos fuente no los tengo porque me los piden, ¿no? Y contractualmente me dicen que no debo de tener copias de eso, ¿no? Y pues se me hace más fácil obedecerlos. Pero estos, como van a ser míos, los puedo utilizar como experiencia laboral, pues, aunque no me paguen por ello.
Ujú.
Pero si los puedo monetizar, va. Y si no, por lo menos me sirven de currículum.
Sí, la idea no, obviamente no es que nos pases el código fuente porque es un producto que debiste de haber entregado al cliente que te contrató, pero
Ajá.
más bien, por ejemplo, poner qué actividades realizaste, no sé, que a lo mejor con la empresa XX, Y, pusiste, hiciste implementaciones features end to end. A lo mejor te
Ujú.
hicieron un code review y aprendiste esa parte, ¿no? Del feedback. A lo mejor hacías pruebas unitarias con tu código, a lo mejor trabajaste haciendo, no sé, implementaciones con React.js, a lo mejor trabajaste de la
O sea,
mano
lo
con...
que sea, ¿no? Pero ponerlo.
Sí, o
Es-
sea, actividades tal cual que hayas realizado.
Ah, ok.
Que
Igual y eso sí
No,
lo puedo poner en una versión actualizada del CV, tal vez.
sí.
Ujú.
Entonces, digamos que sería eso. Hasta el momento hay alguna, digo, yo sé que dijiste que del cliente que tenías dudas en cuanto al link. Al final de la llamada, si aplicas y si llegamos al acuerdo, voy a enviarte un correo en donde venga el job description para que lo puedas ver, en donde venga el nombre del cliente, a qué se dedican, el
Ujú.
link para que puedas buscarlos. Es importante esta parte que sepas quiénes son ellos.
Ajá.
Em, y pues en teoría nada más quedaríamos pendientes de dos pasos para el proceso. El primero es darte de alta en nuestro portal, que básicamente es para que tú puedas ver el estatus de tus aplicaciones y
Ok.
en caso de oferta ahí puedas meter información para que se genere el contrato. Y el segundo paso pues nada más es proporcionarnos tu CV actualizado, en este caso con las modificaciones que te estoy sugiriendo, para que tengas más oportunidad de que la persona que lo vaya a ver en la empresa que te comenté, Wiseline, pueda ver tu CV y de manera rápida pueda identificar que cuentas con la experiencia de Node.js y que cuentas con experiencia de React.js y aparte como plus tienes experiencia en Amazon Web Services y en Python. Tienen varios proyectos, entonces cabe la posibilidad que sí te puedan meter en alguno.
Ah, ok,
¿Hasta
está
el
bien.
momento tienes alguna duda?
Pues de momento creo que no.
Ok,
Creo que pues estoy bien, creo.
va. ¿Crees posible que en el transcurso del día de hoy puedas enviarme tu CV? ¿O para cuándo crees viable?
Tal vez mañana temprano. Es que tengo como
Sí,
unas cositas pendientes acá en mi proyecto. Pero yo creo que mañana temprano te lo puedo mandar o hoy en la noche. Por correo, tal vez, si quieres.
claro, sin ningún problema. Entonces te hago llegar la información por correo.
Ujú.
Igual cualquier duda, pues voy a estar también al pendiente.
Ok. Nada más ahí sí te comento que no conozco nada de Vue ni de Angular, ¿eh? O sea, sé
No,
que
no te
existen,
preocupes.
¿no? Entonces, también por eso estoy pensando tal vez mejor buscar de backend, porque a final de cuentas, aunque estoy haciendo aplicaciones yo solo aquí web, pero
Ujú.
pero mi experiencia laboral realmente ha sido en backend, ¿no?
Digamos que sí, es lo que te comentaba, pero digamos que es un nice to have la experiencia en React.js, AngularJS y Vue.js. No es algo mandatorio. Está
¿Y
más
qué es lo
enfocado en
mandatorio en ese puesto?
la experiencia en Node.js como tal.
Ah, ya, eso sí.
Sí, o sea, como tal en cuanto a lenguajes y frameworks, Node.js.
Ah, ok.
Ujú. Entonces te voy a hacer llegar el job description para que le des un vistazo.
Ok, está bien.
Y cualquier cosa estamos al pendiente. Por mi lado sería todo, Jorge, y que tengas un buen día.
Sí, igualmente. Que
Va,
tengas un buen
hasta
día.
luego.
Y hasta luego. Bueno, ya quedó. Ok, bueno, a ver. So let's get back to it. That was a little interview, I guess. Let's see. Where was I? Give me a minute. Okay. And okay. My phone was losing charge, so I'm connecting it. Okay. It should be recharging now. There we go. Okay, where was I? Oh my God. I need some to free some space on my desktop. But anyway. Where was I? Okay, I was copying this, and this is line 7. And I was going to do what? Let me see. I need to refactor Comunidad Infantil into a Node.js endpoint. Okay. So Comunidad Infantil. So let's do that. Let me see. Just check something here. I need to update my CB, I guess. So there we go. What is Comunidad? There we go. So I need to refactor this as a web page using as a render page using Node. So what I'm going to do now, go back here. I was creating a new router. So I'm going to say Comunidad Infantil router. And this is going to call to, at this time, a non-existent router file, but I'm going to make it something like Comunidad. I wonder if I should name it like this. I don't think so. How do you name? What's the name guidelines for Node? I wonder if it's camel case. There we go. File name must be all lowercase and may include underscore or dashes, but no additional punctuation. Follow the convention that your project uses. File names extensions must be JS. Okay, so basically I can use underscore, maybe dash, because the name of the website is with that, with half dash. So basically copy all this. I should copy that. And that should be the name of my router, Comunidad Infantil router. Comunidad Infantil router should be used down here. Index router is with the root, with the root link. I'm going to copy this line, and I'm going to use with express. But the actual path to this router is going to be Comunidad. Wait, I do have the name. Oh no, never mind. Comunidad dash infantil. And that's the path to get to the router. And the router should be Comunidad Infantil router. There we go. So now I do have a new endpoint here. But the fact of the matter is that comunidadinfantil.js inside the router doesn't exist yet. So I need to go to the routers folder, and let's take a look here in the index router file. I may like to copy all of this, and I wonder if I can duplicate this file. No, well, no matter. Let's create a new file, and this file should be named. Oh my god. Infantil.js. Give me a minute. Somebody's calling the door. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, so where were we? Okay, so I created a new route file. I'm going to paste this. And we are going to be doing some differences here. Let's see. The get method and the path should remain the same. Why? Why is going to remain the same and not going to be something like this? Like this. Because when I reach this file, I am already positioned here. So if I type this, in order for the route to work, it should be written something like this: localhost 3000 dash, and if I leave it like this, then I should need to do this twice, and that doesn't work. That's why I need to remove all of that there, and now with that removed, this is the URL to that page. That's how it basically works. Okay, so that's why this section here doesn't allow me to do that. When I get to the gallery, I'm going to build a lot of more routes. Let's say gallery dash and something, and that may be a new get method over here that is not going to be the root page for that endpoint, but that's another story, I guess. Here, I may like to send the same data maybe, but the difference is going to be that here I'm getting a router. Well, this is a router instance from the Express. That's going to be the same. What I'm going to change is this section here. On line number 6, inside the Comunidad Infantil JS file, I may like to choose another view that doesn't really exist today. But I'm going to type in the name Comunidad Infantil just the same without the dash. This is going to be EGS file inside the views folder. So let's copy this section here, and this should be my router file for the new endpoint. Now, the route file is done. The app.js is actually adding this new route like this and calling back the Comunidad Infantil router that is defined as importing this, as requiring this file here inside the route folder, the comunidadinfantil.js file, which is this file over here. And this is going to be used to render the view that is not existent right now. So we are going to build one. If I go here, let's see, let's create on the views folder, let's create a new file that is going to be called comunidad-infantil.egs. I'm not going to build this from zero, from scratch. Basically, I'm going to copy the source code of this static web page and paste it as a view, and then refactor everything to comply with the portions I already built. So let's open, I think it's GitHub, Montessori Bird, HTML, and I should be looking comunidadinfantil.html, this one here. Let's open it in code, and this is the source code of the static website. Let's copy everything. That should be my first step. Now copy everything, go to the view file, that is comunidad-infantil.ags file inside the views folder, and I should paste everything. At this point, I'm going to render all of this data, all this HTML document as is. Basically, it's not going to be any difference between the static version and the dynamic version because I'm just copy and pasting everything. Now, let's see if this is actually working. Well, I wonder, okay, no, not there. Where is my local version? Did I miss it? Okay, let's see. Localhost 3000 dash Comunidad Infantil. Oh, wait. And there we go. the page is rendering, but we see that there are specific differences between the source code in the HTML. For example, we can see here a lot more broken images. You can see here, and I am losing contact with the how do you call it? With the CSS code, because it's not linking properly. But any other thing is actually working. So let's see the source code. And we can see here several things that I need to modify. The first thing is this link over here. As you are seeing here, it's not going to be enough to replace all of these pictures with the EMG, with the ng name, this here. It doesn't exist really. It's not going to be enough to just replace the name. Why? Because in the original project, I do have an EMG folder. It's this one here, but the links inside this HTML code are relative. They are not absolute, which means that it depends on the current location of the actual HTML file. Why I'm using this dot over here. Let me explain. If I go here to the actual file here, there we go. So this is the file. Let me see if I can actually do it, make it a little bigger. There we go. I think that's enough, I guess. There we go. So these are the files, and this one here, comunidadinfantil.html, is located inside an HTML file. It's not on the root directory. If I move to the root directory, I can see index. And this source code is going to be a little different managing pictures. So I need to use dot to get up one level on the hierarchy of folders. After that one, I need to get into EMG. And now put the name of the picture here. I use dot to get up one level in the folder hierarchy, then enter the EMG folder, and then access to another folder, favicon folder, and then use the name of the picture. So in this case, I should replace not just EMG, but dot. Why? Because I no longer inside the HTML folder here. And this is not going to be a static. So let's make an experiment right now. Let's okay, let's make an experiment. Let's copy all this code, this section here, and let's replace everything. Let's replace dot dash EMG, and now let's replace it by what? By the EMG, no, images. That's the name. That's the actual name of the folder. Let me see if that works. There we go. So I modify a lot of files here, a lot of references to pictures. So it may be necessary to do something else, but let's find out. Let's save the file and let's refresh the website and see if something is fixed. There we go. So now I do get the pictures here. There is another one here, probably an S for the size. This could be the SVG version of the Facebook Messenger app. And so I do get the pictures right. That's fine. Some of those pictures are broken, but the reason for that one is because the links are basically links to social media pictures, and those change from time to time. So the hot link is broken. Unless I just say the picture, the desired picture inside this one in another server maybe, and make a new hotlink, but that doesn't matter right now. So it looks quite weird because the CSS file must be broken too. So let's open the EGS view file for Comunidad Infantil and look for the link for the style sheet. We can see here there is a dot to get up one level, then enter the CSS folder, and then open the style.css file. So on my side, I no longer use this structure here. So where is the style sheet file? If I go to the public folder, I do have here a style sheets folder, and there is the actual style.css file. So I'm going to copy the path, or the relative path, may I say. Copy the relative path. I'm going to close the file, and let's look for the link to the style sheet. There we go. So here it is. So here, I'm going to paste the relative path, and I'm going to remove the public folder name and only leave a style sheets dash with the Unix dash style.css, and that's it, and delete everything else. That should fix my style sheet here. Let's refresh, and there we go. Now I am actually rendering properly this website. There we go. So the pictures that are broken here, as I said before, they are supposed to be from social media. As you can see here, I try to open this picture, and Facebook is actually telling me that the URL signature has expired. So basically, I'm no longer able to hot link to this picture. So that picture should be removed from the code later. I'm going to leave it as is because I'm not doing that job right now. It should be added later. More pictures here, broken links, But what matters is that the actual source code is actually working and the endpoint is working here. This is running from Node. So if I refresh, I can do that. If I do to the root, I remove Comunidad Infantil, I should be able to go to the index page. Nevertheless, however, if I try to use the main menu, we are going to find this. Why? Because the main menu is not actually dynamic. It's still pointing at the HTML files that doesn't exist anymore. So the next step should be, after I did just refactor this page here, that was successful, obviously. Let me see, dash Comunidad Infantil, not .html, because this is an endpoint. And now I am successfully rendering the page. Okay, so that part is done. Let's mark it as done here. There we go. Comunidad Infantil is done. So far, so good. So the next part should be make the current web page item in the menu active. So it's doing that right now because I'm not using the partials. I am using the source code that came with the file. As you can see here, that code is over here. All of this is the main navigation menu. And in my case, if I check the nav links here, we can see the entire menu here. Comunidad Infantil here, as you can see, there is an added class over here. So this added class is the one that makes the this menu option highlighted here. You can see it here. If I remove that keyword, so Comunidad Infantil is going to remain gray as the rest of them. So what I'm going to do here is use JavaScript in order to make this active. Well, the first thing I should do is replace this part of the code and replace many other things. For example, I do have, instead of using this hard-coded code here for the page, I should remove all of this. It's removed. Now, I need to put back the code, but I'm going to use the partial inside the include folder that contains the code to be used here. For example, the head EGS file inside the include folder contains the same code, but in a dynamic way. I am even using the title value over here in line 31. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to copy anything here. I am actually going to import it like I did in the index file like this. Let's see the index. There we go. So here is the index view. And I'm going to basically copy this line over here to include the head inside the EGS file over here. There we go. There we go. I believe that's enough, I believe. There we go. It's pretty much the same. Now, inside the body, I should copy these 3 lines to include the main menu, basically, the navigation bar. So I go here, and after body, I should replace all of this code. The navigation bar code that is static right now should delete it. If I save it as is and try to render the page again, where is the page? Here. If I try to render this page, I'm going to lose the navigation bar because I deleted it. So I'm going to paste the reference to the navigation bar again, like this, just like it's on index, as you can see there. I wonder why it's putting 4 spaces. Should be due. There should be just 2, but never mind, I guess. Okay, so the code is here, as you can see. The indentation is quite different. I don't really like that, but never mind, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to format the document maybe. And it's giving me a very weird indentation. Okay, now I'm going to reset the code as it was. Never mind. Okay, so that's it, I guess. There we go. I wonder if I can just format all this. No, I'm going to leave it as is. Maybe I'm going to run Beautify, I believe it's called, or format with Beautify. Let me see very quickly. I don't think I have Beautify installed yet. I do have format document. Looks really bad, especially this part over here. That doesn't make much sense. And why do you have 4? I'm not asking you to do 4. That's really weird. But I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. I'm going to replace most of this code with partials anyway, in the future, not right now. So the navigation bar is set. If I run I save the file, I run the file again, I'm getting this. But mind you, Comunidad Infantil option is not highlighted. It's a star is highlighted. And the link still points to an HTML file that doesn't exist anymore. So what I'm going to do is 2 things. First, I'm going to replace all the links to hard-coded HTML pages to Node.js endpoints. And second, I'm going to fix the highlighting behavior to work as desired, as it should be. So the first problem should be, oh wait, before I do that, I may like to replace the footer code. The footer code is over here. There we go. I wonder if I included in the partial the comments for the footer code. I don't think so. But let's open it. No, comments are not included. Never mind. Okay. The index file is here. And this is the line that inserts the footer code. Let's see. There we go. Save. So this is the code for the footer, and it should be rendered now. Let's see. Hola, bebé. Estoy streameando, no hay entrevista. And now we can see the footer code over here. There we go. The code for this button, for these flying buttons here, maybe I should make a partial of that. Why not? Maybe I should actually add it. Maybe make So the first one is Facebook Messenger. The second one is WhatsApp. There we go. Maybe this could be done earlier, maybe after this. because this is a behavior that I am expecting to get work on very early for the rest of the pages. But basically, I'm going to make the active property active depending on the page. So if I go to the top of the page here, we can see the navigation call here. So now I do have one source, one file that is going to manage the source of this. So what if I use JavaScript inside the navigation.egs file to ask what path I am using to render this current page? And depending on the path used for this, I should be able to basically highlight the right, the current web page. So what that means is I'm going to open navigation. The navigation include, let's see, the navigation partial. That's this one here. And this is the code for the navigation bar. As you can see, this is the source code for the main navigation bar on the index page. So the active link is going to be this one here. This is a list item. And I'm getting an active class here that makes the work in CSS to highlight the element. So if I delete this and run the software again, there we go. If I do that and try to run this, you can see at this point, Inicio is basically highlighted. If I refresh, it's no longer highlighted. So if I want to make that dynamic. Hola, ¿vas a pasar? Ah, okay, sí. Ah, okay, sale. What I need to do is basically make this a dynamic code, basically making active here optional. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to use, instead of active, I'm going to insert EGS code. In this, I'm going to insert an EGS tag and allow myself to execute JavaScript here. I'm going to use a ternary if statement. That's JavaScript. So let's do the tag. It's going to be like this. I believe it's going to be minus. I'm not so sure, but we are going to figure it out. So this is the actual tag for EGS. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to insert, I'm going to ask what path is being used. For example, I'm going to put here a ternary JavaScript sentences. Ternary operator. And this works just like this. I love examples, don't you? I wonder if I can open picture in a new tab. There we go. So this is what I want to do. In my case, I'm going to use this section here. A condition to evaluate as a Boolean. I'm going to write down this. Then I'm going to follow it by a question mark. This is going to start the conditional. Then, in the case that the condition to evaluate turns to true, I'm going to return this value. If not, if it's false, then I'm going to return this one. So basically, I'm going to write it like this. Getting back here, whatever I write down here is going to be JavaScript. So I'm going to ask, okay, let's imagine that there is a natural value that already exists that is going to be called path, for example. Or let me see, because the course I'm watching already has a name for that. So I may like to use the same name for the sake of consistency. Let me take a quick look at the name. Let me see. I can show you here. This is what I'm looking. Okay, this is the course. I already saw most of these videos. Let's see. Filter and paths. I think it's going to be called path, but I'm not so sure. So let's see. layout with partials, navigation, working with Express, using a helper function for navigation. Maybe it's this one, I'm not so sure. Let me see.
Before we work on the styling, let me add one note on how we navigated to the root folder in shop.js and admin.js. For one, you could just use ... here instead of ... and this would be preferable, even though both should work on Windows and Mac, because now we make no assumption about the separator we're using when constructing a path. So with this, if I go back and I now go to just admin add product here, it still works, but now we got a cleaner way of doing this. But there is an even nicer way we could implement this. We could also get the parent directory with the help of a little helper function. For this, I'll create a new folder here, helpers or util. I'll go with util, you can name it however you want. And there, I'll add my path.js file. And it doesn't matter that this clashes with the global module because we'll import it differently anyways. Now there, I'll add an export with module exports. And I want to export a little function that helps me construct a path to the parent directory. Or not really a function, instead a variable, I should say. First of all, here, I'll import the path with require path as we did it before. And then I will use a different function here, not join, but dir name. Dir name, as you can see in the quick help on the right here, returns the directory name of a path. So this sounds pretty useful. If we use that, we just have to find out which directory or for which file we want to get the directory name. Well, there we can use the global process variable. That is also a variable that is available in all files. You don't need to import it. And there you will have a main module property. This will refer to the main, module that started your application. So basically to the module we created here in app.js. And now we can call file name to find out in which file this module was spun up. So put in other words, this gives us the path to the file that is responsible for the fact that our application is running. And this file name is what we put into dir name to get a path to that directory. With this, we can import from this file. Here, I'll add my own import separated from the other ones, simply to make it easier to identify. And I'll name this root dir. The name is totally up to you, but it will require this from going up one level into util and then path. And this root directory is in the end what I want to inject here. So root directory is what I'll start with when creating this path. And now let's try reloading this page here. And it still works. And it should still work, because now we're in the end having a pretty neat way of constructing a path to our root directory. I'll do the same in shop.js, import root dir from the util folder at the path file in there, and replace dir name ... with root dir. Again, you could have totally stick to the old approach, but this one is an even cleaner one, and one that should be pretty straightforward to use, and that should work on all operating systems, and that always gives you, the path to the root file. With that, let's move on to the styling. File we want to get the directory name. Module exports. We can use the global application. So file name is what I'll add my own import separate to get a path to that. We can import from this file. Here, I'll put into dir name to get a path to that directory. Dir, the name is totally dir. I'll add my own import. With this.
Okay, so basically I need to make a helper file called path.js and export the current root directory here and use this as an auxiliary to create the path to the router itself. That's some code that I didn't remember to add. So it's good that I solved this video before anything else. So I'm going to copy this file too. Let me see if I think that they do have it here. Let's see. I may actually just extract this util into okay, where is the I guess it's in the root. Let me see. Yeah, it's in the root. Okay, so I already extracted that one, and I believe that here, there we go. So this is the code. I'm going to need this later. But now I did just paste the util file over here somewhere. Let me see. There we go. So this is the new file. Why not using that? It's deprecated. It's deprecated. It's no longer. That's a thing, huh? So I guess require main instead. Main module is deprecated. I should use require main. I wonder how. Okay, so this is deprecated. If I leave it as is, it's going to work, but I don't really want to create deprecated code on a new project. So I'm going to do it properly, even if it takes me more time. So speed is not my concern here. My concern is doing the thing properly. So let's try to copy this, because maybe Google can give me an example and I don't need to actually think. There we go. Path dir name, main module.file name. Okay, so I need to require process and deconstruct that into an object here, and then export it. So basically, this is the example that I'm looking for. So, well, I need to update the source code that this guy is doing with this. So let's see. It reads path, but here I'm saving it into an object. Okay. I wonder, wait a minute, look at this. Main module is deprecated again. It reads require main, so it's not going to work because it's basically using the same thing. Wait a minute. Do this. Okay, this was the deprecated code. Okay, so the new one should be this module that exports path.dirname require main. So this is the new code actually. Require main dot file name. Okay. Require path module exports path dir name require main file name. Okay, so that's basically all I need to do. I guess I should keep the path import here and basically just copy this one here or copy everything. Let's see. Delete all this junk. And there we go. It's the same thing. So this line is useless. The exports is going to change to this. Instead of process.module file name, I'm going to delete this line. And this should be the actual export. It's going to be managed the same way. But now I need to go back to the video.
Import from this file. Here, I'll add my own import separated from the other ones, simply to make it easier to identify. And I'll name this root_dir. The name is totally up to you, but it will require this from going up one level into util and then path.
So this is the first line I need to add. A require or an import to the utilities file. Okay. Basically, I already have that open actually. It's this one here. I wonder if I can zoom in. There we go. So this line over here is what I need. I'm going to copy it. Go back to the route file, Comunidad Infantil. And I believe it's before the router definition. Let me see. Yes, before the router, express router instance. Okay. Express router. Down here, I'm going to define the constant root there. And this is what's going to be used in the render, I believe, if I recall. Let's see, admin. This is a comment with the method and the path. It's not rendering something, it's sending a file, which is quite weird. Root dir views, add product. This is a static file. It's not rendering something. Let me see why is he using path in the first place. My guess is that he's using path in order to create. Maybe I should watch the previous video. Okay, I see. What he's doing here is sending HTML pages directly. He's not rendering anything anymore. No. Different routes. Working with EJS. Dynamic content and template engines. Never mind. I think I can figure it out so far. My guess is that he was sending files, not rendering the stuff. So that's why he was using root there. Maybe I don't need this right now. I'm not so sure anymore, but let's see. The thing is, I am rendering Comunidad Infantil at the moment. I'm sending title because this parameter is going to be used. Current year is going to be used. And I need a new parameter called path. And that's what I'm going to be sending. So maybe I'm going to end up using root there after all. So let's see. Let's create a space over here, I believe. That's the path. So I don't know, maybe a let. And the path is going to be, did I include path? Wait a minute. If I read the code here, it does have this import to a path library properly. I guess this is from Node. So this is a required from Node. Okay, so I may not use that name again. After that, he uses Express. He imports the util, root there, router. Everything seems to be the same. And on the add product, is a get add product, and he sends a file using the path library here, and it's going to use the join method. And it's using root there as part of the parameter list on the join method. It's going to join the root directory, the views folder, and the file name. There we go. So that's what it's being used for, to locate and use it to send a file. But I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to render directly. And I guess that I don't actually need this path here or this, because I don't need at this point to send anything, to send something. Let's see, and Comunidad Infantil. Okay. I don't need this either. So what I'm going to do is refactor this code to be able to read it easier. I wonder if I can do this. Hola. Vamos. Okay. Oh, okay, I'm going to get something to eat and be back later. But first, format the selection. It's too long. No, it's not too long. I'm going to need a path property, and this one is going to contain the actual path to the endpoint. So maybe I should just go back here and install what I just deleted. because I think that I'm going to actually use it now. Again, the root dir and the router, and that should be it. Okay, so now path, the path parameter should contain the path constant dot join is a method, and now I'm going to be inserting the entire root direct. I'm going to start with the root directory, semicolon. Then I'm going to say, let's see the code actually, just to not think. The name of the folder, which is going to be views, and that shall be the same, maybe. Root dir views. What else? Oh wait, but this is not a keyword. This is a string, basically. And the last part should be the name. Should be the name of the file, maybe. I could use this. Well, maybe it's not necessary to put the entire path, but I'm going to do so anyway. Just to have a resemblance of dynamic code over here, because this could be as easy as just type down the word main index, but this allows me to get actual path names, full path names. So I'm going to do that. So the path should be views and the name. Okay, he's using the name of a file here anyway. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to say like this. Basically that should, let's see, what do we get? I wonder if I can just format the selection. God damn it. You know what? I'm going to install Beautify. I'm done. I'm so done. Why I don't do this? It's so easy. Okay. Okay. There we go. And this is the router. Okay. Now, format selection with Beautify. And there we go. Thank you very much. So this is a way better formatter. I'm going to leave the stream for quite a while. I'm going to get something to eat and be back later. Thank you.